Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where I'm going to be giving you a reaction and review to the brand new song Up To You by Silent Siren, with a little bit of Poppin party thrown in as well. Now just so you know, if you want to watch the reaction, I just did it, and pause this video if you want to watch that reaction first of all and hear the song with me, and click the little link in the description below which will take you to that video. Sorry, it's just the way we have to do things now, but hey, you can pause this video, watch that, and then come straight back, because I'm about to give you my review of this song. So are you ready for my review of this new Silent Siren and a little bit of Poppin Party song? Because here it comes. Don't say I didn't warn you. I've got to be honest that they, as always, we're honest on this channel. We try to give the positive and negative, never completely drop into saying something is 100% perfect or 100% awful. We always try to find both points. With this, obviously, I have to admit to having a little bit of a hashtag no bias towards Silent Siren. I just find them a very easy to enjoy band. I find that their music is always high quality, but never... It never challenges you, but it also never patronizes you. It's sort of, it's just very easy to enjoy music. So when I listened to this, I was interested when it immediately came with a bit of a hard rock vibe. However, to be fair, this is one of those songs where at first it's kind of curious because you're trying to put them together in your head what it's trying to be. And I think simply what it was your sort of normal Silent Siren song, just done with that extra hard rock edge that I think a lot of people have maybe been asking for but not heard from. Now, like I say, as someone myself who's been a fan of the band since I first heard them and pretty much liked to varying degrees everything I've heard by them, I've never had a problem with their sound, and I certainly don't think that they're going to be changing their core sound. But I do think it's true that with them being friends with not just Poppin Party, but also, you regularly see pictures online on social media of them with the members of, bands like Bandmade. There's always been that comparison drawn of, and a lot of the people who've been on our channel, certainly the previous channel before we had to, restart it, we covered a lot of Silent Siren. A lot of the Bandmade fans on the channel were saying, well, I would like Silent Siren more if they had a little bit more edge, a little bit more heaviness to them. And I think this is interesting because this one, you can tell by the whole production, the whole sound, that this is kind of leaning into, okay, what would it sound like if we did a Silent Siren song heavy? And that also gives us a little bit more of an idea of why the Poppin Party element was put in, because when they're sort of doing a song like this, yes, immediately you can hear the writing style, like the chord patterns, the way that everything flows, the way it moves, the whole style of the chorus is very Silent Siren. You can immediately imagine hearing it mixed and played differently and being kind of more of a traditional Silent Siren song. But you can tell the intention of the production is to go heavier. And as I think I mentioned before, in videos of years gone by, Sue's voice really matches what she does. It just really works in Silent Siren. I don't think for anyone who's critical of those more, shall we say, high-end vocal ranges, it's easy for people to think that that's, sort of not as good as when you have like the big tenor vocal, but it's a different style, it's a different discipline, and it requires a lot of control. And I think what she does is really brilliant. However, I've always said that if they went too heavy, it would sound a little bit odd with her voice, because her voice doesn't necessarily match heavier music. And I think, therefore, the addition of the lady from Poppin Party, like I say, from the kanji, I should have researched this, but I never do research to make it a proper reaction. Names probably would be worth checking. I believe it's Aimi. It's the kanji, I believe, for love and then beautiful. It's really nice that you can actually call someone in Japan, you can call them love and beautiful. And that's just a normal name. If I read the second kanji right, then that should be what it is, and I think that would make it I, me. But anyway, someone tell me, someone who actually has a good grasp of kanji, or just better than mine, which is not a particularly high fence to jump over, let me know. But anyway, the point I was trying to make is her addition to this song helped because her voice was in keeping with the style of Silent Siren, in keeping with Sue's style, and yet it had a slightly lower register, It wasn't like it was that contrasting, but just together it gave an extra thickness, and her voice, I think, is a little bit deeper in tone. So there was a sort of hearing them sing together, and they weren't singing everything together, occasionally singing lines together, occasionally like verses one at a time when things were a little bit more light and a little bit more stabby with the rhythm, and then in the bridge singing that really nice harmony amongst other things together. They were working well together, but when it counted in the choruses and things, there was a fullness to having those two vocals in there that really helped. And I think, no disrespect to Sue, but I think if you're going to do this type of song, you do need to back it up with a certain vocal style that is not traditionally the Silent Siren style. So for me, there was a lot of I think if you were going to say as a band, as Silent Siren, we want to do a heavy song, or if the executive producer said, hey guys, do you want to do a heavy song? I think this was approached in the best possible way. They didn't portray their own sound. It still felt and sounded like a Silent Siren song, but they took the necessary measures to make a good stab at doing something a bit, I was somewhere between step and stab, but I meant a good stab at doing a sort of heavier song. So I really liked this. Now, obviously that brings us round to the conclusion of what my overall opinion is. Now, that's where it leaves me in a little bit of a strange place. I've really enjoyed the songs I've thus far heard off of the new album, Mixed 10th. I liked that Hero had this strange, like, it was the first time from Silent Siren I really heard like a charging double time beat in places. It felt punky, but at the same time it felt light and accessible. The other song, the Wow Wow song, I can never remember the full title. I really love the way it was written. I know that was written by a separate writer, which is something I don't usually have. But the fact that it sounded very different from their usual writing style, as opposed to this song, was countered by the fact that that song had a much more of a Silent Siren production. You know, the sounds that were used, the whole tone of it was very Silent Siren, even if the core writing style felt very different from most of their other songs. Here, however, we go in the kind of the opposite direction from that. Like I say, in that the sound, the tone is very different from usual Silent Siren, but it's matched with writing style, songwriting style, you know, choice of chords and melody that is very akin to what we'd expect from them. The net result, though, for me is, I mean, I love both production and writing, but I'll always value writing above production. To me, writing is always the key art. It goes above musicianship, production, everything else. So, yeah, I think with this one, I like it for what it is. I like it for adding something to Silent Siren's catalogue. I like it for giving us the chance to hear them playing in a different way. I don't think that for me this would be one which would be as standout and memorable. I certainly think it serves a fantastic purpose, not only for diversifying their catalogue, but also allowing them to access fans of some of the other heavier all-female rock bands coming out of Japan at the moment. Gives them a little bit more chance to get maybe a bit of a crossover audience, and same for Poppin Party as well. Although to me, I've only heard a couple of Poppin Party songs, so I don't know how heavy they normally are, but I gathered that they're kind of one of the more poppy bands as well, kind of in the title, amongst other things. So yeah, I think this song really serves a purpose. I think for some people, I'm sure there will be some people where this will be their favourite Silent Siren song. I can really see that. And that's great. I mean, they might not necessarily be the core fans, but, you know, you don't have to do everything for your core fans. In fact, your core fans should be the ones that are happy to see you push boundaries and try to do new things rather than repeat the same thing over and over again. So like I say, I really enjoy what they did here. I think that for me, though, I would be not so inclined to come back and listen to this one too regularly, because I didn't feel that any part of it hugely stood out, with exception to that bridge, which I really loved the way they did the harmony in the bridge. I don't think any part of this stood out from a writing perspective as being more memorable than any of their previous songs. And if we're just talking about it as... That was a really loud clap. Sorry. Don't know how that happened. What am I doing? No editing on this channel. I should stop waffling. So like I say, the writing aspect had nothing that necessarily signposted that I should come back to it in the future above other Silent Siren songs. And the production element, well, if I wanted to hear a song that heavy, I hate to say it, but I probably would default to something more like Bandmade. But then again, as always, these sorts of songs work as variation. It would work great as variation to their usual style, and work as great as variation to maybe listening to Too Much Bandmade of one day. Yes, did I say Too Much Bandmade? I'm going to get so many dislikes on this video now. Oh, God. But that's the thing. I think this is a real playlist song. I think this is one of those songs where it come up in a playlist and you go, oh, yeah, this is the heavy Silent Siren song. This is awesome. It's one of those ones. Every time it comes around, you'll be like, oh, great. And if you're with friends, you'll be like, oh, you've got to check this out. If you know the band, you know, oh, have you heard this? But I don't think it's one that I would necessarily aim to too quickly myself. So, yeah, I think, like I say, good stuff. Not stand out for being one that I think would be begging me for repeat listens, but definitely stand out for being something that makes my overall enjoyment of the band more. I am going to quickly, as you guys know, I like to comment on the videos as well. I'm not exactly an expert video director, but I did do a few videos and stuff during my career. And, you know, I've really enjoyed working with video editing. So I do occasionally have comments about someone's say, and I must say with this video, it didn't really... I think it could have done more to support the song. I liked some of the visual aspects. It was kind of cool in a dark tone, and the eye patches and everything. but I didn't really feel much was taken advantage of. I mean, for example, the lighting was very simple, which was clearly intentional. But then when you got water on the floor, there wasn't much done with reflections and stuff. And I know this is all very simple. Like, these are simple suggestions I'm making. But that's because overall, what the director did was probably way too simple. I mean, it was just sort of like long corridor, kind of nothing happening. Everyone's standing in the same long corridor. Sue is viewed from the same camera angle way more times than you should do, especially when one of them was like a 45-degree camera angle that didn't look very well framed, if I'm honest with you. There were some little moments, but I've got to admit, the video felt kind of like a just enough kind of thing. It didn't really feel... I mean, I feel like sometimes you see videos like this and, you know, they can really elevate the song. This one kind of felt like I expected something more energetic. It felt like the director just went, let's do something a little bit dark because this is a rock song, and never really felt like it was as involved as the song actually was. You know, it felt like it just felt a little bit underwhelming, but functional enough. Certainly, though, one of those videos where it doesn't leave you with any particular memory or scene where you think, oh, yeah, that video. It just kind of went, oh, yeah, it was black and white, and then it was colour, and they stood in an empty building, and the floor was a bit wet. So, yeah, I'm kind of lukewarm on the video. You know, more effort next time, perhaps, for the director. But as always, actually, I was really impressed, actually, by how much motion the girls were putting into it. Well, the women, they were putting a lot of movement into it. Sue was really sort of adding a lot of movement to that, considering it seemed that she'd been rooted to standing in one place for most of the shots. So that was really nice. But yeah, like I say, the video it felt a little bit like the director didn't have any particularly inspiring ideas. But there you go, that's my opinion. Overall, though, song, really good one. Nice addition to the catalogue. I'll just round off by saying what I already said. Nice addition to the catalogue. However, good more as a variation to their other music than as a standout example of the best that I've ever heard from them. So anyway, there's my opinions as always. Like I said, I try to be honest, even as a bit of a fan of this band. It's important to remember that you should be objective and subjective all at the same time when you do reviews. I don't know who I'm talking to my ceiling. So thank you so much for tuning in as always. If you want to continue the discussion, then remember you can do that in our comments or by following other links in our description to the Discord, the Reddit, such like. Pop a like or a subscribe if you're enjoying these, and if you want to get in the comments as well, that's greatly appreciated, like I say. So pop a like then for that as well, because you're enjoying the conversation, right? And as always, a massive thanks to our Patreon supporters who keep the channel alive and well and kicking. And that link's in the description as well below. But either way, thank you for making it to the end of this video. I appreciate you getting here. And until I hopefully see you soon on the next video. For now, from Japan, ciao, ciao.